Hi everyone, welcome to Here We Are, Brattleboro's community talk show. I'm Wendy O'Connell, and we are here in the studio with Betsy Bates. Betsy is our guest this week. Betsy has been in the area for a number of years. So many people know her in so many different ways. She is an active member in this community, and I mean active, like moving around, active. She can lead a bike tour. She can fit you for skis and teach you how to use them. She can plan a wedding, a party, or a funeral. She's a garden maven, a cheerleader for anything fun, and she makes everything more beautiful. She can also wrangle groups of people, kids or adults, without blinking an eye or putting one out. She is indeed actually our goodwill ambassador for the Brattleboro area. Hello, Betsy.
Hi, Wendy. It's really great to be here and great to see you. I've known you for many years.
Yes.
And this is very nice for you to invite me here.
Well, I'm so glad to have you on.
Thank you.
Yes, it's wonderful to have you on. And I think, again, I'm just repeating what I said, but the fact is so many people do know you in many different venues around town, which we're going to talk about. You're born outside of Boston.
Outside of Boston, in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
In Cambridge, oh yeah?
Yeah.
3 kids, you were the oldest.
I was the oldest. Sadly, both of my brothers, one brother died at 48, one brother died at 66, both younger than me, both of cancer, but we were a very close family.
So I always thought your brothers were older, so you weren't following around being a tomboy.
No.
You were leading the pack.
I was leading the pack, yes. And my mother would always say, "You're a girl, you need to wear a top shirt, not just those bottoms." No.
I won't ask you how old you were when you were doing that.
Oh, 40.
Living in Boston, in a pretty urban area.
Yeah.
Did you take vacations? Did you go further afield?
We did. We went to Maine every single summer, and we would go for the summer, not my dad, but we would go for the summer, and I have spent so much time on the beach. I would spend the whole day on the beach, in the water. Didn't matter if it was raining or if it was cold. I was just in that water and walking back and forth a mile or 2 on the beach. And I love living here. I do miss the ocean a little bit.
Yeah.
And I remember having a dream that everybody in Vermont would have a chainsaw, and we'd just chainsaw off New Hampshire and just push them out just a little bit. And then Brattleboro would be right there at the ocean. But
oceanfront. You have to be careful what you ask for these days.
Yes, I know.
With earth changes, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, we could be waterfront.
Anything could happen, right?
We could have an ocean in our front yards.
We could.
We don't know.
We could.
So swimming was another.
Yeah, swimming.
A big activity.
Big activity.
And you went to Catholic school.
Catholic school. I went to St. James Academy outside of Boston in Arlington Heights, Massachusetts. And then I went to the Marian School, which was near Framingham, Massachusetts. So 12 years.
Oh, wow.
I did go on to not a Catholic college, but 12 years of going every day, going to Mass every day, saying a lot of rosaries.
That was a big part of your life. That's a long time.
It was a big part of my life.
Yeah. Did you ever think about becoming a nun?
Yes, I did, actually, in my senior year. And I was enrolled in an organization, a nunnery, called the Marists. And they were nuns that would travel. And my counselor said, you are really too young and pretty naive, and you should go away for the summer. So I got a job as an au pair, babysitter, I think, in those days. In Little Compton, Rhode Island. And I met a guy on the beach, started making out. Bye-bye to the nuns.
That was the end of
that was the end.
That's the end of Betsy and the nunnery.
That's the end of the nunnery, right.
When you were growing up, I know how active you are in so many different kinds of sports. Were you an athlete in school?
No, because there really weren't things.
Like girl athletes.
When I was in the girls' Catholic school, there really weren't that many things to do. Both my brothers were captains of whatever they did. My father was a hockey coach, baseball coach. So my brothers and my dad did all of that. I didn't get involved with sports probably. I always walked, but I think skating and skiing became in my late years with my family. And then certainly when I got older, in my late 20s, I just went crazy.
You kind of bloomed as an outdoors person.
Yeah. I did have a great job in Switzerland teaching skiing, but I was about 28, and I did a program with children. Parents would leave their 3, 4, and 5-year-olds off, and I could either play with them or give them a ski lesson. So I always chose, we're going to try to ski. Nobody spoke English.
Wow.
They were French, German, Norwegian, Spanish 3 or 4-year-olds. And I said I could say 2 words to them because we were skiing. Everybody knows the word pizza. Pizza? And then when you put your skis together, I would say pommes frites. Because everybody knew what pommes frites were, right? We would say French fries here, but every kid knew what a pomme frite was. So I didn't have to speak really a whole lot because they spoke in so many languages.
And they learned how to ski.
Oh, they learned how to have a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that was the big thing.
Right.
Be outside, have fun, fall, get up, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just be outside. Have fun.
Well, I think that's something you bring to just about everything you do, is to get outside and have fun.
That's
no
right.
No matter what it is.
Be outside as much as you can.
And it was your 20s that you also did a lot of traveling, so including Switzerland, but you went on from there.
Yes. When I was 27, a friend from Brattleboro said, we should go to Europe. And so we left, and I planned we would stay 3 to 6 months. We had Eurail passes, we had everything. She stayed 10 days, missed a boyfriend, and I stayed 3 years. I just did not want to come home, and I found great jobs. I went to Israel for a week, stayed 6 months, working as a volunteer in a kibbutz. I was in Switzerland, got this job. I was there for 6 months. So there was a year just there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of any of those, you also were in Greece, right?
Yes.
Yeah, a couple other, Greece and Russia?
Yes, I spent a month as a guest of the Russian government. I applied for this job, this trip, figuring I would never get it because it was people who could really promote travel. And I worked at Lion Travel and did the travel for SIT and people.
Yeah.
But I got it. So I think I spent $200. I was gone for 28 days to Moscow, Samarkand, Bukhara, Tashkent, Erevan, Tbilisi, Alma-Ata, way over here, back to Leningrad.
Wow, and what were you doing there? What they have you do?
I was with a group, and we had 3 in-tourist guides with us. So we spent every possible moment going to factories. I saw so many balalaika concerts. It was very, very organized. I went to see open heart surgery one day. I was with a group of like 22 people, and these people all owned travel agencies, so they could really promote. It was 1969. So,
wow.
Was
that's such a wide breadth of experience and cultures. Were there any that you felt a particular kinship for?
Well, I found out that I always thought that I was English and a great-grandmother was from Scotland. But, you spit into a little cup and send it away, and they tell you that you're part this and part that. And I found out that I had some Norwegian blood.
Oh.
So I think my trip to Norway, feeling like, wow, these are people that could be like my relatives.
Yes.
So
we don't even have Norway on the list.
No,
so.
I just kind of remembered that. Yeah.
So you did that for a number of years, and then you came back. And actually, we didn't talk about how you got to Vermont.
Yes, how we got here. So this is a very quick story. I married a ski racer, and the snow melted, and he did too. But it got me to Vermont, it got me teaching at Hogback, if you can remember Hogback.
Yes.
And then later I taught a few nights at Maple Valley.
Mm-hmm.
And then mostly I was at Stratton with a kid program.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I got quite involved with cross-country skiing because my husband, Neil Quinn,
Yeah.
who started the West Hill shop,
Yes.
was he wasn't a downhill skier, so I moved a little bit to cross-country skiing, and now that's all I teach and pretty much all I do.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you could do both downhill and Nordic.
Yes.
Yes. You enjoy
Yeah.
one more than the other?
Well, at the time, I loved downhill
Yeah.
skiing,
Yeah.
but I'm so involved with cross-country skiing now, and just going out, being by myself or teaching a class,
Mm-hmm.
not waiting for 25 minutes
Right.
in a lift line
Right.
and freezing, because
Mhm.
you're always warm when you cross-country ski.
Yes. Yeah. Where do you cross country mostly?
Well, I teach at Grafton. I've
Right.
been there for, I think, 16 years.
Mm.
I teach cross-country skiing there. And then probably about 6 years ago, they started something new. It's called Wine, Cheese, and Snowshoe Tours. You have to snowshoe first. You can't start with the wine. You would never leave. And so usually I would take anywhere from 5 to 25 people out.
Uh-huh.
And we would go out for about an hour and a half. And I would really get them moving.
Uh-huh.
And then, because Grafton, of course, makes that wonderful cheese,
Yes.
so
right.
we would have probably 7 or 8 different kinds of the cheese and wine.
Uh-huh.
So,
That sounds like fun.
yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And you're still doing that?
I'm still doing it, and hopefully this year, I mean, it is outside.
Yes.
So we're going to have to figure, we're going to have the wine and cheese maybe outside, not sitting in the little lodge.
Right. Right.
So I think they're working on that now.
Well, that's one thing, that's coming up now, now that we're into fall.
Right.
How are we going to continue being
Yeah.
able to see each other and have social interaction?
Right.
And I don't think there's a fire pit left available to buy
Right.
anywhere. There's so
Right.
many people doing that. So what you're doing sounds wonderful. you
Yeah.
know. Bundle up.
Yeah, bundle up.
Bundle up. Let's hear the story of you meeting Neil.
So I came in 1967, then I
Mhm.
went on my big trip that lasted 3 years in 1970,
Mm-hmm.
came home in 73. I would say I think I met Neil probably in 1976,
Mhm.
77.
Mhm.
I got a job leading bike trips with Vermont Bicycle Touring, and I didn't have a bike. And seeing that I was going to be leading bike trips, so I went into the West Hill shop, and there was Neil, and that was it. Yeah,
Pretty cute, tall guy.
pretty tall guy.
Yeah,
Yeah. So we
yeah.
were together 42 years.
42 years, yes. Most folks in the area
Yeah.
know West Hill Shop, but it really was, it is an iconic bike shop that Neil started sometime in the mid-70s, I
Yeah.
think. Neil Quinn, the late Neil Quinn, we miss him. And you were quite a dynamic duo at West Hill Shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you saw so many people going through there and helped so many
Right.
people.
Right. So it was majorly a bike shop.
Yeah.
And then, you have to do something from December to March.
Mhm.
So cross-country skiing took a big side to it. Then.
Yeah, did you
Yeah.
bring that in to the business?
No, it was there when
It was always there, yeah.
when I met Neil.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then snowshoeing became very popular.
Right.
So the nice little ones, not those big, huge ones.
Yep.
Yeah, so those are very popular.
Yes.
They're very popular leading those trips that I do
The
every
snowshoe.
Saturday. Oh, yes, they're very popular. People want to be out.
Yeah.
They're in their 60s. They've never skied. They're afraid. But yeah, you can certainly put on snowshoes and walk.
Snowshoes.
And just be out and have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inventing those snowshoes, I remember it was the early 90s that I still have the same pair I had back then.
Yeah.
But it was liberating.
Yeah.
You can go anywhere.
can go
with them.
anywhere.
And they're fast.
Yeah.
I could keep up my
Right,
walking
and you can
pace.
put them over your little ski boots or
Yeah.
running shoes.
Right.
You don't need big ski equipment.
Right.
I think that's what people really like.
Yeah.
And nobody really falls.
Right.
Yeah.
It's hard to hurt yourself snowshoeing.
It is hard to hurt yourself. Yes, right.
So when you do a snowshoe, so you do bike tours, you do snowshoe tours. What is it about it, Betsy, that you really like? Because you got a group of people, sometimes multi-ages, in one tour. Yeah.
Just introducing people to cycling. A lot of people would come with a bike. They would live in Florida. They've never been on a hill, and as you know, Vermont ain't flat. Many hills. So just seeing that people can do it.
Yeah.
You know, that and making them laugh a lot
Mm-hmm.
and making them have a lot of fun. Right now I'm a leader with Road Scholar.
Mm-hmm.
So Boston, and there's a little office here in Brattleboro.
Yeah.
And I do 15 times I've been to Iceland. So I did 7 hiking trips in Iceland. And now I do, it's called intergenerational trips. They're with grandparents and grandchildren. And the trips that I do, the kids are between 9 and 12,
Mm-hmm.
and they're in Iceland for 10 days. And it's pretty much geared to kids. But, of course, the grandparents are
Yeah.
being with this kid that they haven't seen in a long time, or certainly haven't spent 10 days with.
Yeah.
So I love doing those.
It sounds wonderful.
Love doing those. It's
Yes.
a lot of fun.
And speaking of wrangling people, as I did before, I mean, multi-generational, you're having to accommodate this wide range of ages.
Yeah.
So you seem to enjoy that kind of
Yes.
production.
Right.
Yeah.
I was a preschool teacher, and so these kids are, 9 to 12. They're not preschool, but sometimes they are.
Yes, sometimes adults are too.
So I've loved doing it. It was canceled this year,
Yeah.
as all my trips that I lead. I lead a
Mhm.
hiking trip in Spain on El Camino de Santiago de Compostela, or the Camino.
The Camino, yeah.
And it's a small organization in Putney
Yeah.
that started this, and I did it last year, and I've signed up for 3 trips this year, but all 3 have been canceled.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
I didn't know you did the Camino, and
Yeah.
I've heard people talk about it, in so many different descriptions
Yeah.
about it.
It's like 800 kilometers
Yeah.
long. I knew I only had 3 weeks. They mentioned that you should probably take 45 days, but I didn't have 45 days, so I knew I would take a bus in the middle where it was not the greatest of hikes. I carried a 25-pound pack, and I went by myself, and I was 65 years old. I traveled, because I'm alone, so many people would travel with me. I met hardly any Americans, and I stayed in, they're called albergues, or they're like youth hostels, but a couple times I stayed in a monastery, and you paid $3. The trip that I lead, that I did last year, we stay in hotels. The van carries your luggage.
Uh-huh.
You just carry a little day pack.
Yeah.
The van meets you with a lunch. It's quite glorious. And we stayed in hotels.
Nice.
Right.
And you enjoyed that?
I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
wonderful.
Got a few years older than when I was 65.
Right,
So.
right.
yeah.
Yeah. And what is it about the Camino that is of interest to you, or that you...
When I was in the 4th grade, I actually wrote about pilgrimages, and I think everybody knows Fatima, but I found the Camino. I looked up pilgrimages, and I found it, and I wrote this little story in the 4th grade, and the nun said, "Where did you find that?" I said, "Well, I looked it up," and so I knew about it from the 4th grade.
Wow, yes.
And I had heard about it, and then I just thought, 65, if I don't do it now. But there I was last year.
Amazing.
Right.
With a tour.
With the tour.
Wow.
And some days I did walk 20 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a lot to walk
But you
a
have
day.
all day. And you're carrying 2 pounds of, a raincoat. Yeah. You have all day to do that.
Also, people know you well from Walker Farm.
Yes, 22 years at Walker Farm.
22?
Yeah.
Wow.
Once somebody said that I was the queen of Walker Farm.
That's good.
And then someone said, "No, I think she's the mayor." I'm really neither of those, but I love working there. Karen and Jack Mannix are just the best people to work for and to work with. I'm very happy being there.
Oh, that's so great.
So I'm mostly there in the spring now. I'm the I'm like the flower girl.
You're the harbinger.
Yes, I'm the harbinger, right.
Of spring.
Right. I did the horticulture botany program for a year at Smith College, probably 25 years ago, and I thought, I need to be involved more than the West Hill shop. And there was Walker Farm. They took
right
me
there,
in.
right around the corner.
They took me in.
Yeah.
Right.
So you were doing both at the same time, Walker and West Hill?
Walker and West Hill.
Walker and West Hill.
Right. And leading bike trips.
And leading bike trips.
Yeah.
And then doing ski instruction in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Kind of busy, Betsy.
Yeah, kind of busy.
Kind of busy.
But seasonal, very seasonal.
Yeah.
You know, I have little free time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course now I'm at Scott Farm.
Yes. After many years in Guilford, you and Neil built a beautiful house in Guilford.
We did.
And then you moved to the Scott Farm.
We moved to Scott Farm. We had put our house on the market. It was going to be sold. We moved to the Scott Farm. Neil was only there a month, and then passed away. Mm-hmm. But he got there, and he got me there, and I'm very happy there.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, a lot going on.
So much going on there.
So much going on.
Yeah, well, between Walker and Walker and
I'm
West
just a
Hill,
farm girl. Walker Farm.
Yeah.
Scott Farm.
That's right.
Yeah.
Farm girl. I want to talk a little bit about your event planning, because this is something. Have you always done this, or was it just
No.
in the last 10 years?
I sang in the women's chorus, and I sang in the bass section, and there were two women in there that I was very fond of. I'm just going to say it's Chris and Carol, and they were very excited about civil union. It just happened, and they said, could you help us? And I thought, sure, I can do it. And one of their aunts said, leave it to Betsy to turn this place into something beautiful. And I thought, great, I think I'll have a business called Leave It to Betsy. And that's how it happened. I also was a justice of the peace in Guilford, so I could marry them and do the whole event.
Yes, so. And you've also been doing some funeral planning, I hear?
Yeah, so Leave It to Betsy was my name, because Carol's aunt said Leave It to Betsy, and I thought that's a good name.
Perfect, yeah.
And then I thought, gee, if I ever did a funeral, I would have to be called Heavens to Betsy. Because I think there's a book called Heavens to Betsy, a very old book.
It's certainly an expression.
Yeah, and I have helped people. You know, I think if you belong to a church or a synagogue, you already know you're going to do it there. The ladies will make a luncheon. But if you don't have that, and you want to have a group of people, then I can help you.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, you're doing a whole gamut, and again, you're doing all different age groups and all different kinds of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'm always in awe of people who do production like that, because you've got to be juggling, literally, sometimes, so many different pieces along with the people you're dealing with. And brides who are nervous,
Brides who are nervous. Oftentimes it's the mother of the bride.
Right.
The mother of the bride that's a little more...
Have you done any mediation counseling, training?
No, I never have.
Yeah, I think you come by it naturally.
Yeah, I think everything has sort of worked out.
Yeah.
I now live in Dummerston, and I'm on the ballot. So
as Justice of the Peace.
As Justice of the Peace. And my last name is Bates, and so I'm the first one. You know, if my name was Zimmerman, I would be on the bottom, and maybe you wouldn't look that far, but because it's Bates, I'm the first one on the list.
That's
so
great.
Hopefully I get on it.
The pandemic has certainly slowed things down as far as events and all that goes. But actually, for you, this year, in some ways, that was a blessing.
Yes. Because of my accident?
Yeah.
Yes. I had an accident, but I don't know anything that happened, so I was kind of in a coma for a couple of weeks up in Hanover. I believe I fell down 16 steps and landed on cement. Ouch. And luckily my friend Betty, was coming to walk with me and couldn't find me. Spent a half an hour looking hither and yon, and then saw the door open to my basement.
Wow.
And called
Mhm.
rescue, and then I guess I had to get on and get flown
You got flown.
to Hanover.
Yeah.
Remember nothing.
Yeah.
So, but I would say I came back pretty quick.
Well, yes, I believe you were out and about in February.
Yeah, I was in. Then I was in Keene for 2 weeks,
Uh-huh.
and then they thought it would be a good idea in Brattleboro that I go to speech therapy because I sometimes couldn't quite remember. I knew that I knew it,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't get it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I only went for a month. I was supposed to go for 2 months. She said, you can go now."
You are a sturdy
So-
soul.
Well, I just knew I wanted to keep going.
Right.
So,
Well, I think,
Yeah.
that's one thing that is very apparent in everything that you do. You move forward.
Keep
You're always
yes,
moving.
Right.
You're always moving forward. Not
And
much stops you.
I love looking forward. I don't spend a lot of time hashing over what happened. It's already happened.
Mhm.
So, I don't have to think about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're walking a lot as
A
well.
lot.
Yes.
Right. Yes,
Beautiful
because
roads.
yes,
Beautiful roads
living
over
out at the Scott Farm, there's beautiful places to go.
there. Mm-hmm.
And many friends want to come and see me, and we include a walk. So we walk and talk, and usually, 1 or 2 people will show up every day and do great walks.
That's so great. And
Yeah.
that is one big advantage of not being way out in a rural area.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very happy living just 2 miles, just 8/10 of a mile from Brattleboro. I mean, it's pretty close.
From Putney Road. I know.
yes, from right.
It's amazing how
Yeah.
quickly we can get out
Right.
into the country, how fast
Exactly.
it's rural.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm only I go to the St. Michael's Episcopal Church,
Mhm.
and I'm like 3 miles away, so it's quite easy.
Yes, and you've
Yeah.
been part of the Episcopal Church for a while now.
Yeah, for 20
Yeah,
years.
20 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, very happy there.
Yeah.
And we're now doing a few outside services in
Mhm.
Guilford,
Oh,
at the
great.
Guilford Christ Church, where Neil was buried. He was on the board there,
Uh-huh.
and was very. He wasn't a religious, didn't go to church, but he really liked Christ Church in Guilford,
Yes.
and wanted to maintain it and wanted to keep it in Guilford. Didn't want it to disappear or
Yeah.
have it turn into something else.
Mhm.
The past couple months, they have an 8 o'clock service on Sunday morning.
Oh, nice.
So, little nippy, but we all have coats. We all can wear mittens.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so many people are not only buying fire pits, but a lot of organizations are getting the big towers.
That's right.
To keep us warm.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need ventilated igloos, maybe.
Right. Right.
Betsy, thank you so much for coming
it
on.
was so great. It was so nice to see you again and chit chat.
Yes.
Known you for many, many years.
I know. And
And-
being part of this community together is
Right.
wonderful.
And we'll continue to walk.
Yes. Yes. We can always walk. And
We
if we're
can
not
walk.
walking, we can snowshoe.
We can snowshoe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
As
it's
my
great.
mother-in-law said in her older days, she said, as long as I've got 2 legs and 4 wheels, I'm good.
You're good. That's great.
I'll see you
Yeah.
there.
Thank you.
Thank
It's
you,
great
Betsy.
talking to all of you.
Thanks for all of you for being with us here today to talk to Betsy Bates and hear some of her stories. We're so glad that she said yes to coming on the show. We will see you next week. We are a weekly show, as always. You can tune in on BCTV, and our shows are always available for streaming pretty much for eternity. So tune in anytime, and you can take a look. Thanks again.